Okay, so here is problem 3. It has to do with your test, and this is very real to what you have to deal with every class of yours anyway, asking the questions, well, what do I need to score in my next test to get an A in your class? Well, here's the questions. Carmen's scores on 3 math tests are shown in the table. The fourth and final, meaning the last test of the grading period, is tomorrow. So pretend you're trying to take a test tomorrow and you want to make sure you get an A for the semester. She needs an average, and you know the average means the mean, of at least 92% to receive an A for the grading period. In the table, you see that she has her 3 test scores here. First test she took, she scored 91%, which is like a low A. Second test, she scored a solid A, 95%. And the third test she took, she scored an 88%, which is a B+, right? The question to ask, if Carmen wants an A in math, in this case, she needs to score, she wants 92% as your final grade. What must she score on the last test? So that's the first one. And then the second question, we're actually going to go over later, but I'm just going to read it off right now. Is 150% a solution to the inequality that you wrote for this problem? Is this a reasonable solution to the problem? Explain your reasoning. Okay, so fine. We have this situation right here. We need to know some background knowledge, right? We need to know what does it mean to find the average of something. Can anyone remind me of average? How do you find the average of, let's say, 3 numbers? Yes?
Add everything up and divide it.
Very good. So we have this general knowledge of average, or the mean. In this case, how many tests does she have?
3.
3. And she'll be taking another test, right? So how many tests total? 4. So you know that if you want to find the average of all 4 tests, you would do what?
Add them up.
Very good. Okay. So based on that information now, let's work out our problem. Let's think about this. Do we know anything about the 4th test? No, we don't. And so the general trend says this. If we don't know a solution to that, what do? Always. Very good. Name it as a variable. So how do you want to name this? What do you want? Okay, so let's say you say x, right? X is what? The scores of the 4th test. Questions so far? Pretty simple, right? And you see, every word problems that I do, anything that I don't know, usually the last question, notice it says, if Carmen wants an A in math, what must she score on the test? Meaning the last test, I don't know what the scores of the last test is, so I declare it as a variable to represent the last test. And we go back to the entire problem, and since the problem is asking you to find the average, and we just worked out a general way to find the average. In this case, how many scores are we trying to average here? 4, because she has to take the last test, right? So how do you write that up as an average? What do? How do you find the average of all 4 tests? Okay, so you would do what? 91 plus 95 plus 88 plus what? X. Very good. See, we don't know the last test, but it's okay. X represents the score of that last test. X could be anything. Any percentage, really. But to find the average, what do we do after this? Divided by 4. Questions on that one? We're good? So this is the average of all 4 tests. Is that correct? If we know what the x is, we will be able to find the average. But then you know that since we have to come up with an inequality, let's read the rest of the problem. It says this, that she needs the average score of at least 92. At least 92. What does it mean to you when I say, hey, you need at least 92%?
92 or higher.
92 or higher. So basically you mean greater than or equal to 92. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So if I'm going to say that your score over here has to be greater than or equal to 92, if this is 92, what symbol do I need to insert in there to make it true? Where's the mouth facing? To the left. So is this correct?
No.
No. What am I missing still? The bar. Very good. So now that this makes sense, the scores that I need to get over here has to be greater than or equal to 92. Or we just translated that whatever I get here, it has to be at least 92%. Does that make sense? Okay. And as you can see, We cannot solve for x right away, huh? We need to do some cleaning up work to get to our solution. So what's the first step that you would do for this problem? Add them all up. Very good. So let's add all them up. 91 plus 95 plus 88
is 274.
274. So let's write that. 274 plus x over 4 greater than or equal to 92. Correct? True? Okay. Now what? Okay. Why do you multiply everything by 4? Very good, very good. Notice what Jennifer did. Why am I writing this way? I want to represent this as a fraction, and as you can see, since we don't have the same denominator, we have to find the LCM, right? Least common multiple. And at least, this is just a way that we learned before. Clearing fraction. We clear fraction by finding the LCM, least common multiple. In this case, 4, 1, the LCM for 4 and 1 is 4, right? So therefore, we just have to multiply everything by 4. That's how we clear our fractions, find the LCM. Okay?
So 274 times 4.
So what would these two 4 will do? We'll cancel them out, right? Because 4 is on top, 4 on the bottom will get canceled. Over here, what's 92 times 4?
368.
368. So let me just go ahead and expand this. You got 274 plus x greater than or equal to 368, right? Any questions so far? Please let me know. Just basic, I know I should say equation solving, but it is like that. We're still doing the same step, just trying to solve for x, isolating the variable as much as we can. So now what do we do as the last step? Subtract 274, okay. When you subtract 274, x is greater than or equal to 94. In this case, it's 94%, right? Since we're trying to find a percentage of that. And now, think about this. She needs to score at least 94%. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. To get the final score of at least 92%. So the last test now, if she wants to get at least a 92% at the end of the grading period, she needs to score it that much, 94% or more. So we got this answered already, but then look at the last question though. Last question asked, is 150% a solution to the inequality you wrote in exercise 35? Is that a solution? Think about that. It says here that you need to score greater than or equal to 94%. Is 150 a solution? Yes or no? Why? Yeah, you plug it in. Is that true? Is 150 greater than 94? So technically it is a solution, right? But then I'm going to go back and ask this question. Is this a reasonable solution though? Why is it not reasonable? Oh, unless your teacher is generous and give you a lot of extra credits, right? But do you have a teacher like that give you like 50% extra credit? No, right? So you would say, is that a reasonable answer? Even though it is a solution, but is it reasonable? No. So you say no, and you just basically explain that. Well, I don't think my teacher's going to be that generous and give me like 50% extra credit, right? And there it is. Questions on this at all? And this is what we call a multi-step inequality, guys. And notice that how many steps we have to go through in order to find our final solution. But to wrap things up, how do we graph this? How do we graph this on a number line? No, not that. What do we start here? Graphing on a number line, not on a coordinate point. Okay, what do we put down first? The number line, of course. We need that. And then what do we put down? The 0, always. 0. And 94, left or right?
Right.
94 to the left of 0? No. Where? On the right-hand side. So let's say 94 right there. And so we know our answer has to be greater than 94, so is it pointing to the right or to the left of 94?
Right.
To the right. So I know it's going to be like this, right? Open or close? Why?
Open.
Wait.
Because
Open or close? Why open?
Why not close?
Are you telling me that we don't include 94? So ask yourself that question. Do we include or do we not include? Include means close, right? When you say I don't include, then you open. In this case, has to be closed. Questions so far? And that's how we graph our inequality. You don't graph until you get to the very end for the variables by itself. I see a lot of people, though, students, try to graph right away without even trying to solve for the problems. I don't know why, but that's the reality. Any question on this? Okay, all right. I'll stop this, but I have something else to show you.